In the hands of a skilled reader, tarot cards can reveal your deepest desires, your darkest fears, and perhaps even your fate. But what happens when a killer uses the cards not to predict the future, but to control it? It started with the first body found in an abandoned alley. A single tarot card, the death card, lay beside the victim. But this death was no accident. It was foretold. The death card isn't about literal death, but change and transformation. Yet here, change meant the end of a life. This wasn't a random murder. It was a symbolic one. The killer used the death card as the beginning of their transformation, a symbol of their shift into becoming a serial killer. A subtle clue is placed on the card. The detective notices but doesn't fully understand the importance yet. The victim worked in finance, successful, powerful, but their empire came crashing down, just like the tower in the tarot. The killer used their fall as a reflection of the card's meaning. The tower signifies sudden upheaval, destruction, and chaos, a fall from grace, or in this case, a literal fall from life. The tower represents sudden change, just like the fall of the victim. The detective finds a shred of fabric that links the victims together, a shared secret or connection. A couple is found dead in a secluded park, their hands intertwined, with the lover's card placed between them. The lovers, a card about connection and choice. But here, the choice was between life and death. The lover's card isn't just about romantic love. It's about duality, choices, and consequences. The killer saw their connection as a weakness, a bond to be broken. The lovers symbolize a deadly connection between the two victims. Perhaps they were involved in something illicit together. The detective uncovers a shared history or a reason they were targeted. Perhaps they wronged someone together or had a secret affair.
What does these cards means? I see a pattern, but am unsure how the story's going. Wait a minute, the Hermit. The Hermit card is about retreating into oneself, but in this case, it was the killer who stayed in the dark, watching. They've been one step ahead of me the whole time, but no longer. It represents isolation and introspection. The killer has been orchestrating this from the shadows, controlling their every move.
The detective now has enough evidence to suspect the killer's identity, but must wait for the final piece of the puzzle. The final murder takes place in a church, with the judgment card left on the altar. The killer is about to commit the last murder, but the detective arrives just in time. Judgment, a card of reckoning where all is revealed. The killer thought they could escape fate, but now it's time to face judgment. Judgment is about consequences and redemption. The killer believed they were the hand of fate itself, but they made one crucial mistake. They left a trail. The detective confronts the killer, explaining how they were able to connect the tarot cards to each murder. The detective reveals the final card, the Fool, left behind by the killer. The Fool is the beginning of a journey, a leap of faith. The killer thought they could manipulate fate, but in the end, they were the real fool, believing they could control destiny without paying the price. The Fool represents the killer's arrogance, believing they were invincible, but ultimately they were just another pawn in the game. The Death card, a symbol of transformation and inevitable change. The Tower card on the table. This symbol represents sudden chaos, destruction, much like the first murder where the victim was caught in an unexpected explosion. The killer wanted us to think it was an accident, but the card left behind told me otherwise. Then there was the second victim, found hanging, but not in a way that suggested suicide. It was staged, meticulously planned, just like this card. The killer was leaving messages with each kill, taunting the viewers, followed by a married couple. They were both found dead in their home, seemingly from a joint pact. But the card made it clear, it wasn't a mutual decision. One of them had been forced. The killer wanted us to see it as a crime of passion, but the cards told a different story, one driven by manipulation and control. Did you follow the clues, or were you left in the cards? At least we ain't no fool like the murderer. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. How would you have cracked this case?